This is the Doctor bringing you Gloomhaven, or more accurately, the digital adaptation of the board game Gloomhaven. Perhaps one of the more famous board games in recent times. It is renowned for its high difficulty and very tactical play. This is kind of like the Barrow brothers of board games. It is certainly a challenging game, and there's a ton of content. So in the digital version, you not only get the main campaign, which if you go out and buy the board game, this is what you get. There are 95 quests, and then they even have a bonus mode called the Guildmaster mode with like 100 more missions. So it's crazy. Like the amount of content you get for just buying the base digital version is extraordinary. Now, I am hardly a master at this game like I am with Barrow Brothers. Probably played about 100 hours. After a little while, I could already see why this game is so renowned, and unlike most other strategy games, I don't think I have figured out how to solve it even in 100 hours. I think there are players out there who have basically solved the game at this point. It's been around for like many years, and the digital version came out last year. It was in early access before that too. So, but I have not really watched too many strategy guides or anything. I've kind of figured out some of the stuff myself. And from a purely like game design perspective, I think it's really cool. And the battles are great. And I think the tuning of the game is also excellent. So for those of you who know about Gloomhaven, that's great. But I'm going to gear this towards the players who perhaps have never even heard of this. I also want to point out, originally it was designed to be played as a tabletop, right, with your friends. So you can do multiplayer too. And this is how it was originally meant to be played. But I will just be doing single player, and we'll start with the campaign. So you can see all these options here. We have to first pick a guild name. And you know what? We need a name that really inspires dread and terror in our opponents. And what would do that, right? Well, if they know about me from Barrow Brothers, maybe that's going to terrify all the enemies. And any good name, of course, needs to be alliterative. So I'm thinking something like the Doctor's Dudes. Yep, just a bunch of dudes. That's all you need to beat this game, at least on hard mode. So there are all these difficulty settings. This deadly, I think, was added specifically for the computer version, but regardless, it is hard. Even normal is like, this is like Barrow Brothers, okay? If you play veteran the first time, you're gonna get like killed about 50 times in a row. So yeah, that's normal is pretty hard already. I did read the rule book, and I have some familiarity with the game. The rule book actually says that if you're playing by yourself, you should pick the hard version where everything is one level higher, because it's just way easier to coordinate your mercenaries. So I'll do that per the rule book. And then I mentioned this is a adaptation of the tabletop game. I should say it's basically a one-to-one port, but with a bunch of new options and settings added. My understanding is that these settings are actually approved by the original board game's designers. So like you could play everything exactly like it is on the board game, but I'm gonna go with all the recommended settings. It's like if they were to tweak their board game, this is what they would do. And enhancements, like that doesn't become relevant until a couple missions in anyway. And once that stuff happens, I can explain that. But let's go ahead and continue. And then these are the house rules. From what I understand, a lot of players actually use the variants. Just like this is just how players agree to do that with the tabletop version. So I'm just going to do everything that is exactly what is recommended here. So a lot of this won't even be relevant unless you like have a summon, for example. This one is pretty important, the advantage disadvantage thing. I think this is probably the biggest thing that matters, but I will explain all of that once we actually get to that point. Let's go ahead and get started. The game does have quite a learning curve. There are very helpful tutorials, but even after like playing through the tutorials, you just kind of know how the game works, but you don't learn any of the real intricacies.
Welcome to the harsh lands of Gloomhaven, recruit. You think you have what it takes to become a mercenary out there on the edge of the world? We are paid to venture into the darkest forests of the region and to step into ancient crypts with the unmistakable stench of death and rotting flesh. Lovely places to earn a name for yourself. Be ready to face cutthroats, undead, fearsome tribes, and dreadful demons from other realms. You didn't find yourself as a mercenary without knowing how to crack a few skulls, did you?
What a lovely introduction. Yep, you also play as a band of mercenaries. That's who you are, just like in Battle Brothers. Before going to the harrowing wilderness surrounding Gloomhaven, you'll need at least 2 mercenaries in your party, brave or greedy enough to seek out adventures in exchange for gold. We should say brave or greedy or foolish enough. On your left, you'll find a party panel, blah, blah, blah. Click on the first character. Yep, so you have to create your characters. And why don't we just go ahead and get started here? Yeah, I am clicking on it. All right, there we go. And then new mercenary. And there are 6 classes you can start with, but as you play the game, you unlock more classes. There are, I think, 17 total in the base game, but these are the 6 starting ones, and because of that, they're probably the 6 most well-known classes. Anyway, I am going to pick my favorite class, the Scoundrel. And I don't think it is considered one of the stronger of the starting classes, but I personally just really like the Scoundrel. It's basically a rogue. Like, scoundrels are self-serving and opportunistic. They believe that everything is theirs and will do anything to make sure it becomes so. She excels at high damage melee attacks, identifying lone targets, and also gaining bonuses from working close to her teammates. She's a loner, however, so don't expect her to help other party members apart from killing their attackers. So yeah, lone wolf. This is the character. You don't really customize the character in the sense of like giving them stat points, but what you do instead is, and I'm gonna name the Scoundrel after myself, of course. Oh, right, you have to pick a personal quest. Ooh, interesting. So like the game explains, a personal quest is a mercenary's sole reason for adventuring. Once the quest objective is complete, the merc will retire. Retire means my character like is not playable, but you gain some bonuses for future mercenaries. So retiring is like a good thing. Yeah, though farewells can be bitter, sometimes things have to move on to give way to new horizons. Yep. So let's see what our options are. Pounds of flesh, kill 15 vermling scouts or shamans. Vermlins are pretty common. This is not hard to achieve. And then elemental samples, you have to do 1 base game quest in each of the following regions. That is a lot of regions. So not a bad idea either, but I feel like this is... So kill 15 vermling scouts or shaman, I have to be the one to kill them. That's a little trickier. This one, I just have to like go do a bunch of quests. It's really not that difficult. However, on the other hand, I am very good at killing. So you know what? I'm gonna do pounds of flesh. A baby silent among the charred remains of a once vibrant village. Your silence is the one thing that kept you alive. The townspeople were warned the area was unsafe, but they built anyway. Then the vermlings came and killed everyone but the baby. But now the baby has grown and wants revenge. It's very fitting, I think, as a background. From a roleplay perspective, this is perfect, right? Yeah. Yep, lone wolf indeed. All right, joined the party, very good. And then, yep, I'll need another mercenary. So I'll get back to that character in a moment, but let's do a new one like the game suggests. And there are couple other mercenaries to pick from. You can pick the Brute. He's kind of like a tank. Melee. They even explain all this stuff down here. Melee damage tank. The Cragheart, he also has 10 hit points. Slightly less tanky, but he's very strong. He might be one of the stronger starting classes. You got the Tinkerer here, who is a support character. He's got a variety of tricks, but he's not very good at doing damage. So he's generally considered one of the weaker, if not the weakest, of the starting classes. The Spellweaver. Now, the Spellweaver does phenomenal damage, phenomenal range damage. And if you play her right, she is super, super powerful. But I've definitely played with the Spellweaver, so I know like how to use her classes. But if you're completely new to the game, I probably would not recommend choosing the Spellweaver. Kind of tricky. And then the Mind Thief. This is arguably, if not the Cragheart, this would be the next strongest starting class. Not nearly as hard to use as the Spellweaver, I think. The reason why he's so good is he's got like a gazillion different, I guess it's a she, interesting. Okay, she's got a gazillion different like control powers, like immobilize, stun, stun, stun. Very, stuns are really good in this game, just like in Battle Brothers. Yeah, nobody like uses stun for some bizarre reason. Cragheart is just very, very strong. I am going to pick the Brute. Just as a very standard class. He's just got a sword. He's got himself a shield. And let's go with that. And I am actually going to name you after I have 2 names left from my anonymous season of Battle Brothers. I don't even know if you're watching anymore. But Chag, welcome to the squad. And then once I run through the next name, I will actually have used up all the viewers who requested names. So let's see. Take back the trees or Eternal Wanderer. Complete 15 different scenarios for the base game. That's pretty easy. Complete 3 different scenarios in the Dagger Forest. Then unlock the scenario Foggy Thicket and follow it to a conclusion. Could do Eternal Wanderer. There's so much to see in this world, so many wondrous places beyond belief. So this is just slow and steady progress. 15 different scenarios in the base game. Who knows how long it'll take for us to complete scenarios in the Dagger Forest. So let's do the Eternal Wanderer. Welcome to the squad, Chag. And then, now you can create up to 4 party members, but the game scales with that. Oh, okay, I meant to create more characters, but okay, you can use the merchant to buy items. I'll explain all that later. And then the world map to go to your quest. Okay, yada yada. I'm skipping all this stuff, but it's just easier to explain it manually. Okay, so you can have up to 4 characters, but this game will scale. If you have more characters, there'll be more enemies, tougher enemies, and so forth. I personally think the sweet spot seems to be around 3. That way the turns don't take too long. Also, the more characters you have, even though the enemy scales, you scale, I think, harder because you can set up more combo type attacks. And whereas 2 is like not as interesting, you just don't have enough options. 3 seems to be the sweet spot. And I am going to go with the Tinkerer. I have a soft spot for the Tinkerer. I will admit he is not very strong, but he has a lot of tricks, and we have the Scoundrel and the Brute. Brute can actually do pretty decent damage with the right setup. So, and Tinkerer, on critical turns, he can do really, really well. And critical turns is what this game is all about. So we're gonna do that. And welcome to the squad, Lucromancer. So we will create you. Let's see, merchant class. Own all required item types. I have to own 2 helmets, 2 armor, 3, and that's actually not as difficult as it might seem. The thin places, but this merchant class, I just need to like buy a lot of items. And you're definitely gonna buy and use items. That's not difficult. Items are actually really good on him. Thin places. 6 side quests. It's also not hard to do. We could do the merchant class, why not? This will take a while to get all the items, but on hard difficulty, you actually get a little more money. So this is easier to do. I think that makes sense. Although 6 side quests is also not exactly difficult either. Okay, so with your characters, the way you customize them is through items, yep, and through their cards. Now, this is worth reading because, well, this is talking about unlocking new and more powerful ability cards. Okay, maybe this is not worth reading. You can edit a deck of cards, yeah. So the cards are basically your skills. Imagine like the bar in Battle Brothers where you can decide what attack to use, and you might be like, oh, another card game, like don't you just wait until you draw the right cards and then you win? But it's not like the typical card games like Slay the Spire or whatnot. What happens is you start with all the cards in your hand, and every turn you pick 2 to play, and you have to use something from the top and something from the bottom of each card. And when you pick the top of one card, you can't use the top of the other card. So for example, let's say I picked Single Out and Flanking Strike as my 2 cards. I could either use the top part of Single Out, which attack 3, and then add 2 attack and gain an experience point. That's what that symbol means when the target is adjacent to any of your allies. Or I could do Flanking Strike top, which as you can see is the same thing. So if I pick Single Out, Flanking Strike, the top part is the same, so either way is good, but the bottom is different. For Single Out, the bottom has an effect to allow me to do even more damage to enemies that are adjacent to none of their allies. Flanking Strike lets me move 5. You'll see that movement is very, very common on the bottom, and attack is very, very common on the top. And in fact, for any card, you can always, no matter what the text says, choose to either just do a basic 2 attack or basic 2 move, no matter what. So that's what these 2 symbols mean. And you can only do 1 top and 1 bottom, like without exception. Even after 100 hours, I sometimes forget that and mess up. I pick 2 cards like, oh, right, I can't do 2 top actions. But I'm sure eventually I will cure myself of that problem. It's a pretty infrequent problem at this point. But when I was starting out, I made that mistake like all the time. So, and here you can customize your abilities, decide like what you actually want to take with you. I am actually going to make one small change, I think. Single Out is good. I like Special Mixture. I don't know if I need that. Let's pick Sinister Opportunity as opposed to Single Out. And I think I like everything else. All right. And we can go to the shop and buy some items for our characters. As you can see, all these items. So many items. What items should you pick? Well, there are many, many different ways of picking items. I'm sure there's lots of different advice for what you should do. But for my own character, I'm going to pick a minor stamina potion. It says during your turn, recover up to 1 discarded card. Oh yeah, when you play a card, of course, they get discarded. And then once you run through all your cards, what you have to do is rest. And you have to burn a card, meaning like it's in the pile that you can no longer access with almost no exceptions. There are some ways to get burned cards back, but no matter what, eventually, as you keep playing, more and more cards will be burned. And if you ever run out of cards, you literally can't play anything, that character is exhausted. Just like removed from play. So you need to finish missions before you exhaust all your cards. So for my character, I will buy a minor stamina potion, and I will buy myself a cloak of invisibility so I can have some shenanigans. Used up all my gold. That is totally fine. All right, Chag here, buddy. What are we gonna do with you? I am thinking we want to rearrange your abilities a little bit. Don't know if we need that sweeping blow ability. I like skewer. I also like balance measure quite a bit, but let's go buy you some items. Boots of striding, add 2 to movement. Movement really matters in this game, like really matters. So I'm gonna buy that for you, buddy. And I am actually going to save the rest of your money because I really want this Warhammer. And I could also just buy like a healing or another stamina potion. Either could be good for you. You're kind of a tank, so a healing potion could do a lot of work. But on the other hand, Luke Romancer here could also do some stuff. And for him, I am going to buy Eagle Eye Goggles and nothing else. Yes, that seems good. I'm gonna try to get you all the money, which is ironic because usually the scoundrel is the best at looting money, but we'll see what we can do to get Luke more money and more items and so forth. How do you access his personal quests again? From, what do you have to click on? Oh, here, there we go. Yeah, I need 13 items. Whew, that is, I mean, sometimes you can just buy like a super cheap item just to fulfill that request. Huh. Yeah, something to consider, huh? All right, so Chag, should I buy you another item? If I buy you another item, stamina potion might honestly be better than a healing potion. This class, the Tinkerer, is very good at healing, so you know what? Why don't I take a little time to go through and pick all my cards and stuff. You can already see, like, just creating the mercenaries, things are getting interesting. Like, there's so many choices already, and we haven't even gone to a battle yet. I went through and picked a couple cards I think are better. Since we're going to focus on healing with Luke here, I picked up Potent Potables, which will increase my healing power for the next couple actions. And then I made sure that I had plenty of good movement abilities on the bottom. I have a lot of like move 4s, move 3s on the bottom because he doesn't have any boots. And Chag, I gave you balance measure, which with the boots could be a lot of damage. This has an ability where attack X, and X is the number of hexes you have moved so far this turn. So if you're moving a ton, this could be a gazillion damage. And Skewer is generally pretty good damage as well. So I dropped his eye for an eye, which also heals, but and I dropped his sweeping blow, which I just don't think is as strong as some of the other abilities. All right, I think I'm satisfied with the slow out, but before we get to the first mission, let us do a city encounter. These are just random events. They're like the event system in Battle Brothers. Now, you could actually just ignore it, but the events are generally positives and they're fun. Let's just do it. City encounter. After a night of heavy drinking, you get turned around while navigating the back alleys and find yourself standing before a collapsed section of brick road that leads down into an underground tunnel. Fueled by curiosity and a bit of liquid courage, you descend in search of adventure. Stumbling around in the vast network of tunnels proved rather fruitless, however, until a well-concealed passage leads you to a long-forgotten stash of weaponry and dried food. The stuff could fetch a decent price at the sunken market, or you can turn it over to the city guard, which is always in need of arms and rations. We could donate the goods to the city, but I feel like since I'm in charge of the company and I am very selfish, we are going to sell the goods for, oh, look at that, 10 gold each. That is a very positive result. And using a few less than savory contacts, you're able to unload the goods for a respectable price. Who knew drunken strolls could be so profitable? Indeed. That's what we get for doing our city encounter. Wow, I have more money. I could go buy something else. What do I want to buy? I could get myself a nothing. Iron helmet. That basically it prevents crits, but I don't really care. Yeah, it's not worth it. Okay, Chag, what could you buy? Now, I really want to save up for that Warhammer now. So, I'm definitely not going to spend anything. And Luke, what could I buy for you? I could save up for armor. Like another cloak. That's not bad. I do like the idea of having a power potion. On critical turns, I could do a lot of damage with AoEs. I have quite a few very strong AoEs. And having a power potion on the right turn could be a big difference. One other thing to note is that each character, let me just show on the map here, has a different number of cards. So Luke here has 12 cards equipped, Shag has 10, and I have 9. So, and due to the way the game works, the more cards you have equipped, the sort of harder it is to exhaust. Like, you can last longer in battle. So, and you could afford to burn more of your powerful cards. You'll notice some of these cards have a little symbol next to it right here, burn. Meaning if you play the card and use that side of the ability, the card goes into the discard pile. It goes into the burn pile rather than discard pile. So that is, like, you shouldn't use these abilities unless you really, really need to. If you burn all your cards right away, you're going to lose the mission because your mercenary has no endurance. There are, like, you can search online to see, like, formulas of, like, how long a mercenary can last in battle, assuming you, like, don't burn any cards. And the versus, like, when you do burn cards, and the answer is, like, your mercenary will be exhausted super quick if you just, like, use all the strong abilities. You have to use them at the right critical moment. So that being said, I do think a power potion is a really good buy. That, or I save for a cloak of invisibility, but I don't think we need that. I can go invisible and do some, like, shenanigans. I think that's good. So we will buy ourselves a minor power potion, and I'm not gonna buy the stamina potion, although it is very good, because I have a lot of AoEs, which I think combos very well with the power potion. Plus, I just need to buy stuff with this character, so. Okay, and I'm not gonna buy anything. All the stuff I really want costs a lot more, so. All right, let's head out. Oops, I did not mean to go there. Let's go to the actual mission. Oh, now the game tells me to go through the ability cards and inventory. I already did all that first. And it gives you a little preview of what you have to do. First quest, kill all enemies in all rooms. You're gonna face bandits, bandit archers, and living bones skeletons. And there is even a treasure chest. So I think this is a new addition to the game. Like the interface telling you what you're gonna face, which I think is nice. So let us travel. Or maybe it's not new. Maybe this has always been there. I honestly don't know. This game's been out for a while. So.
Everyone needs to eat. Whatever your reason for coming to Gloomhaven, out here on the edge of the world, that simple fact is never going to change. A mercenary can't fight on an empty stomach. So when Jexera, a Valrath woman wearing a red cloak and enough gold jewelry to keep you fed for a decade, approaches you in the Sleeping Lion and offers to pay you 10 gold coins to track down a thief and retrieve some stolen goods, well, seems like as good an excuse as any to sober up and start paying off your tab. This thief has taken some important documents, says the red-skinned merchant, her tail whipping about in agitation. I don't care what you do to him. Just bring back what is mine. Based on Jexera's description, it was easy enough to knock around a few alley thugs and get a location of the thief's hideout. You don't find yourself as a mercenary way out in Gloomhaven without knowing how to crack a few skulls. So your target is the Black Barrow. Sounds like a lovely place.
As you travel on the road, you can run into another random encounter. Okay, you're traveling through a small wooded area when you round a bend and find a group of Inox warriors fighting a band of armored humans. With all the commotion, it's hard to discern more details, but the humans look like guards from Gloomhaven. You are not sure why they would be out here fighting the Inox, though. Huh. Well, so we have myself, a scoundrel, who, you know, whatever about the city guards. I don't care about them one way or the other, but I may or may not kill them. Like, it's all fine to me. Do I get paid for it? That's the real question. We have a tinkerer who heals a lot, so I assume he's kind of a nice guy. And then we have the brute, and the brute is actually an Inox. That's his species. So because of that, like, I feel like we would want to help the Inox fight off the humans, right? I don't care. I'm sure Chag wants to help his fellow Inox. And Luke, I'm sorry, buddy, but you're being overridden here, whatever your vote is. Fearing the battle could go either way, you charge in the fray, laying low to human attackers. When the dust settles, the Inox offers you a skeptical thanks. Humans think they own all this lands, one of the Inox says as he spits on the ground. We thank you for helping us with this nuisance. Allow us to bless you with a gift. Fascinating. Necklace of teeth. Now, I don't think I can equip it before the next battle. Oh, I can. Okay, I didn't know that. Anytime you kill an enemy during your turn, perform a heal 1 action. Very nice. And it's a helmet. So I could give it to Luke, but he already has a helmet. That would just be fulfilling his quest, and it would do nothing. That seems bad. We could always buy him a cheap helmet to fulfill his quest. Chag is a tank, and he could certainly benefit from that, but I think that would probably make the most sense to give it to Chag, because I know what item I'm going to give to myself in my helmet slot. So, I do kill a lot, so I would proc this all the time, but there's a better item, and I have tricks, I think, to get myself out of trouble. Whereas Chag, this item just seems... This is a phenomenal start. I've never had a start this good. Admittedly, I've only started twice, so it's not a large sample size.
It's easy enough to find. A short journey past the new market gate, and you see it jutting out on the edge of the corpse wood, looking like a rat under a rug. Moving closer, you see the mound is formed from a black earth. Its small, overgrown entrance presents a worn set of stone stairs leading down into the darkness. As you descend, you gratefully notice light emanating from below. Unfortunately, the light is accompanied by the unmistakable stench of death. You contemplate what kind of thieves would make their camp in such a horrid place as you reach the bottom of the steps. Here, you find your answer. A rough group of cutthroats who don't seem to have taken very kindly to your sudden appearance. One in the back matches the description of your quarry.
Okay, before entering a dungeon, each mercenary must choose one out of 2 battle goals. Battle goal is a secret objective the mercenary tries to complete inside the dungeon. Failing it has no drawback, but successfully completing it in the scenario will earn the character the reward shown. So generally speaking, you want to try to complete this, but it is not necessarily so easy to do some of these. And if you can't do something, it's honestly not a big deal. Let's equip this necklace. So I'm gonna look through these and decide what I want to do. I've decided to try to go for layabout. I'm just not even confident I can do opener. You really want to kill things, and generally I'm really good at killing, but I'm not actually sure I can be the first person to kill a monster. Layabout, you have to gain 7 or fewer experience points. That's actually pretty hard because all my best attacks will gain me experience points, but might be able to do something where I don't, and even if I fail this, it's not that big of a deal. And this has more upside because you get 2 perk points, whereas opener, I'm not sure I can actually do it. And then Chag here, Scrambler is also good, taking only short rests. It's not that big of a deal, but these boots are real nice. And if you see let me just select these boots here. Oops, no, re-equip them. Basically, if you long rest, you can get these boots back. I'll explain all that in battle, but whereas Zealot, I think, is a little easier to manipulate. And then Luke here, you, Protector, allow none of your allies to become exhausted. Neutralizer is also pretty good. I'm just not confident I can be the person to cause a trap to be sprung. But Protector, I don't think anyone will become exhausted. Although Neutralizer is also pretty easy, to be honest. I could, like, do something to... Like, there are ways I could, like, force it to happen by picking, like, Volatile Concoction or something, but let's just go for Protector. I also think that one's usually pretty easy. You just gotta be very careful with Chag and Luke. Like, we need to make sure when we win the mission, I actually do have 3 or few total cards, and he doesn't actually get exhausted. But yeah, and if we fail these, it's not a big deal. The number one thing is you just want to win your scenario and try to get the bonuses if you can. So let's get in there.
Take care of these unfortunates, your target says, backing out of the room. You can vaguely make out his silhouette as he retreats down a hallway and through a door to his left. Well, it's not every day we get people stupid enough to hand-deliver their valuables to us, grins one of the larger bandits, unsheathing a rusty blade. We'll be killing you now. Joke's on them. If you had any valuables, you probably wouldn't be down here in the first place.
That sounds about right. Okay, so this is the main part of the game. After 37 minutes, we have finally gotten to our first actual battle. So this is the first room, not a very big room, but enough to do all sorts of tactical maneuvers. And these are our enemies. And you can see the other rooms in the fog. So there's 2 more rooms that we have to clear. We have to kill all enemies in all rooms, of course. And you can select your characters and then pick 2 cards. You always have to pick 2 cards every turn. You have no choice about the matter. So, like, let's say we pick that and then flanking strike, like, and we do something like this, for example. Oops, no, we would want you here. And so then, for example, I could use Smoke Bomb. It says they're pull to range 3, so range 3, pull him here, and then I can flanking strike and get the bonus, do a little extra damage there. So that could be my, in fact, I could even go quicker because there's a little number next to each card, you might have noticed, and these are initiative values. So unlike in Battle Brothers, where initiative is based on your, like, stats, here it's based on your cards, which in a way is kind of like your stats too. So, and the order you click on doesn't matter. So if I do 4 and 12, then I go super quick. I have initiative of 4. If you look at the other characters, like the Tinkerer, his fastest card is 17, and the Brew, his fastest is 10, but he's only got 2 under 20, and then a lot of cards in the middle. Whereas the Scoundrel is very quick, and she also has some slow cards. But that is, like, she's very flexible. She can either go super quick or super slow. And other characters like the Brute may be stuck a little bit more in the middle. And the Tinkerer also has kind of a mix here. So what should we do? Well, I do like the Flanking Strike Smoke Bomb opener. Just pull something here, stab it right away. Probably won't kill it, but we might. And the reason why I said probably won't is there's something called an attack modifier. I guess you can't even see it. Oh, you can see it like this. Okay, so attack modifier deck. This is where RNG comes into Gloomhaven. And I think this is pretty much the only source of RNG on the tactical map. Because everything else is actually, there are rules to govern everything, like what target the enemies will attack. That's not random. There are actually specific rules about that. So when you make an attack, you draw one of these cards, and the little dots beneath it means how many copies of that there are in your modifier deck, and apply it. So I could draw a +1, giving me 1 extra damage, and then I'll kill the guard. Or I might draw a -1, so I only do 4 damage. Or even a -2, so I only do 3 damage. And the most dreaded card, of course, is the null card, meaning a critical miss, I do 0 damage. That card would really, really suck beyond words. And as the game progresses, there are ways to modify the modifier deck. But for now, this is what it is. Also, when you draw one of these, it goes away. So if you draw a 0, your chances of drawing zeros are less likely. If I draw a -2, I can't actually draw another -2 until I draw either the null or the ×2, the critical hit, and then all the modifier cards get shuffled, and we start anew. So that's how those decks get shuffled. And so I'm gonna do that with my Scoundrel, pull and attack. And what are we gonna do with the Brute? Well, so these guards, you see they have movement 3, attack 3. They might run at us and try to attack, but if they're too far away, then they might not even be able to attack me. So I should pick something that lets me move a little bit. And there's a lot of them, so something like a Leaping Cleave could do work here. And something on the top, maybe. I could also say, you know what, I'm probably not gonna kill it. I could spare dagger or something on the bottom and just do something on the top, but I don't have anything to do on the top. So I could set myself up for a skewer. This is because if you use Leaping Cleave, it generates an element on the bottom, a wind element, and then you can use it the next turn to consume and do extra damage. I haven't even talked about like elements. I picked 3 characters that basically don't have to worry about it. Almost never have to worry about it. There are classes whose entire thing is based on these elements, and it can get pretty crazy. So maybe what thinking a stun might also be quite good. I could do something like not enhancement field. I could do something like net shooter. I might actually use some of these abilities. I'm not seeing that I'm gonna use hook gun. Well, I might pull something and let the Scoundrel clobber it. Probably gonna use the top of Potentables. So this becomes an art in itself. What card do you use first? And I'm gonna move to the left. So trying to net shooter. Net shooter is pretty strong on the top. Even the bottom has uses. I don't really want to use that unless I have to. I don't think I'm gonna use Ink Bomb here, but the 4 move is very flexible. I don't think I'm gonna use the hook gun, so I'm probably just gonna use the bottom part to move 2. And we could do a stun shot hook gun. So I stun one of these. That seems good. We want to try to make sure that one dies though. So what if I did... Maybe this is not the turn to be stunning them. I could use hook gun, and then I could use reviving shock to try to kill it. Ooh, this is, you see how the game gets so interesting, right? Like, So very interesting. I think I want to do a leaping cleave and maybe this is not the turn to stun. What if we did a leaping cleave? So pull you over. Well, I could also swap the scoundrel and the brute, but I think that'd be bad. Because what if they run up and hit the scoundrel? So we can leaping cleave. And reviving shock allows you to target 2 enemies, but it only works. They're both range 3. Oh boy. Tricky, tricky. Really want to make sure that thing dies. So maybe don't do that. I kind of want a save enhancement field. I could just use the top part of hook gun to attack. In the future, I will be cutting all this out, by the way. The decisions, but I just want to record this first set so you can see just how tricky things can be to think about. Definitely want to do leaping cleave on the bottom. What do I do? I could just use trample on the top. Spare dagger. Maybe we just do that. That's very flexible. Okay, we could do this. Leaping cleave up here. Or somewhere. Maybe even here. And then we can use a spare dagger to kill that one. And then just in case that doesn't work, we'll use reviving shock and hook gun. Alright, and once I've made my selection, I can end it, and the enemy will get to go. Well, they will actually draw cards. Every single enemy in the game has a deck of cards that they draw from to decide what they will actually do. In terms of movement, attacking, buffing, debuffing, there are so many different things that could happen. Although for Brigand Guards, it depends on the enemy type, of course. For Brigand Guards, there's only like a couple different things they could do. I think... I don't know, I don't actually have the tabletop, but I think most enemies get like 8 cards in their deck, and which doesn't seem like a lot, but yeah, there are a lot of enemy types in the game. So let's do this. Let's see how this strategy goes. Ooh, they're gonna move 2, attack 3, and strengthen. So that is scary. Strengthen is a buff. That means when they attack, they can attack with advantage, meaning they draw 2 modifiers and they pick the higher of the 2 modifiers. And so you can never miss when you strengthen, assuming nothing else is going on. But they can only move 2. So I can actually avoid damage from all of them if I really wanted to. So let's stick to the plan, pull you. And next turn, I may have to do some stuns so they don't get their strengthen abilities off. Just do the flanking strike here. +0, that's what I expected. And I could get a card back, but I don't know what card I even want back right now. So for now, I'm just gonna end my turn. Interesting. Thing is range 3. Too bad the Brigand Guards are all gonna go ahead. I really want to do the jump, but I can't let them just get a free attack off on me. So I'm not going to be able to attack with the Tinkerer, I think. Ah, now you'll see, if I were to attack this with a range attack in melee, I get disadvantage, meaning I will draw 2 modifiers and use whichever one is worse, which could be real bad. So you pretty much never want to attack in disadvantage, if at all possible. It's just real shame the Tinkerer doesn't actually get to do anything, because if I move the Tinkerer up here, or here, he could attack, but then he's gonna get attacked back, which is very bad. So I'm thinking we put the root here. None of them can attack. Skip the rest of the movement. You don't always have to move all 3, but if you wanted to, you could do something like this. You can move back and forth. That's a perfectly legitimate type of move. Alright, good work. And as expected, I did manage to kill an enemy on the first round, so that worked. Why did it play that animation? That's weird. Well, whatever. Oh, of course I have the necklace that heals me when I kill something, but I had maximum health. I could have perhaps chosen to go very slow with hook gun. I was just worried that one wouldn't die. Then I could have gotten 2 free attack off, but that is not to be. So if I go here and I do 2 attacks while they rush up and do a lot of damage to me, that seems bad. Could duck myself in the corner, but I might actually AoE next turn. So I'm actually going to do nothing this turn. Just end my turn. A lot of the game is about like just not taking too much damage, like playing smart. Okay. Good. All right, we know what to do. So guards are, they have to, I think they have 1 card that is a range attack, but for the most part, they are melee opponents. And so as long as I can, for example, root them with this net shooter AoE, they can't do anything to me, right? So I think I'm definitely gonna do that, but I will consider my moves and pause the recording until I figure out what I'm gonna do. I've decided to run away from all of these strengthened enemies, because if they hit me, it's gonna hurt like crazy. So I could use the bottom part of backstab and to run, but the top part is swift bow to attack, and I can do these actions in any order. So I'm gonna attack first and then just run all the way away to one of these corners. No problem. And the same thing with the brute. I want to move fast, make sure they can't catch me while strengthened, and we're gonna skewer. I want to stand here and try to skewer that way, but if necessary, I could use the boots to hide over here and skewer this way. I'll only hit 1 enemy, but that's fine. And then with the Tinkerer, I'm going to do a net shooter here, root all of these, immobilize all of them so they can't do anything. And then we're going to use Ink Bomb on the bottom to move. This is another gigantic AoE, but I have a feeling we're not going to burn 2 AoEs on this group. So we'll save the other AoE for later and just use the bottom part to move. Actually, I might as well use Proximity Mine to move just in case, like, because the top part is like just terrible, but the bottom part is useful for movement. So, whereas what if we actually need to use Ink Bomb? You never know, right? All right, let's see. Oh, I was afraid of this. They do have their range attack. I was very much afraid of this. Okay. This is, they have 1 card in their deck that lets them do, and it's a pretty damaging range attack too. Huh. I might... Oh, I should have picked Ink Bomb because then I could have gambled on the high roll for Ink Bomb. Hmm. Well, we have to gamble no matter what. So I'm going to AoE these and then skewer over here. We're going to pray all those attacks actually kill everything. And we're going to eat 2 big hits. Possibly 3 big hits, but that is what it is. I don't see a better option. I could root these 3 and then high everyone in this corner. They at least, I would only eat 2 big hits. Huh. That might be better. That might be better. In fact, I think that is better. Okay, I was so fixated on AoEing. So AoE with the root here always happens. Like, that has to happen no matter what. That is not difficult. But I could attack this one. Use the boots on my a brute to come here and then skewer up. I don't get the AoE, and that's unfortunate, but it's not that big of a deal. I'll probably kill that one. Then the Tinkerer AoEs these, roots them all. Their range is 2. They can't actually attack. The other move I thought was we could swift bolt the thing in the back, move over here, skewer these 2, and then AoE. But if I draw a null modifier, then like one of these enemies will live. There's a decent chance of something crazy like that happening. And then I would eat like up to probably 3, possibly more strengthened attacks, would be crazy bad. If I do it this way, I probably only eat 1, at most 2. I can never eat more than 2 strengthened attacks. And all of these will be weakened next turn. So I think this is actually the best move. Let's do this. Yep. +0. I'll take it. That's totally fine. And I'm not even going to use the bottom part of backstab to move. I think I might actually want one of my potions. Oh, no, I don't think I actually want one of my potions back. Just stay put. So that's not a movement, but if I use the boost to give +2 move, then it is enough move. We can skip the rest, skewer, use the air. So I generated an element last turn using the leaping cleave, and now I have an air. If I use it, I get extra attack and piercing armor. These things don't have armor, but +1 damage. That will counteract a -1 roll. Hey, look at that! Just as I said that. Beautiful work, Chag. Beautiful work indeed. And then I can even heal myself. Not that I have any lost hit points. And then I have to do the net shooter here. But let's use some of our power. Might as well use an Eagle Eye Goggle. This gives me advantage on all my attacks, including AoEs. So I draw 2 cards and use the best, and I can never ever miss and not do damage. There's also, but even if I didn't have the Eagle Eye Goggles, I would still be able to immobilize. Like, the effects always apply, even if you draw the null modifier. But we're not going to get a better AoE than this, so I'm going to use my power potion. And do just the maximal damage right here. Look at that. Okay, +2 times 2. Wow, I killed one outright. It's just dead. This was a -1 even with the advantage, but that's fine. but neither of them can attack. And do I even want to move? Could move up here to just get the gold now. This one will move back and hit me with a pretty hard attack, but neither of those two can do something. And every enemy you kill drops gold. You have to actually move on top of the gold pile to pick it up. If you don't, you even by the end of the mission, you just don't get the gold. And so you might be, oh man, we gotta collect all the gold, collect all the loot. But from a practical perspective, it's actually really hard to do that, because if you were to try to do that, you might run out of cards and not win the mission. You actually keep the gold you get and you can just keep trying it, but I want to try to just win the mission. So if I move here, the guard, he'll move back one and then range attack me because I'm closer. There are rules for how the AI attacks. Like, it always attacks the closer enemy and always picks the enemy with the lowest initiative. So like right now, the guard would actually attack the scoundrel. But if I move here, I will force the guard to move back one and attack the tinkerer, which I think is actually better for me. Because this way I pick up some gold. And the tinkerer can take more damage, even though it looks like they have the same hit points, but that's actually not true. The tinkerer can in fact take more damage, and I'll explain why. Because this guard is gonna move back and attack. Yep. So, ooh, +1, okay. So when you take damage, you could actually choose to take the damage, burn one of your available cards, or burn 2 discarded cards, which you should, like, pretty much never do this unless you have absolutely no choice. This is, like, so bad. Burning 1 card, sometimes you just gotta do it. In general, you want to receive the damage. It's easier to heal. If you take like 7 damage, I might actually consider burning an available card, but right now I'm just going to take the damage, because when you burn cards, right, you have less longevity in the scenario. So that's why you want to try to avoid doing that if at all possible. Okay, well, let's do some shenanigans with the scoundrel. I have an ability called Quick Hands, letting me move up 2 and attack with the top part, and then Thieves' Knack, move up to with Quick Hands and attack on the bottom. That seems real good, right? Like, that move is just too obvious. I had to say it right away. But let me try to figure out what else to do. All right, let's start with a provoking roar balance measure. I'm gonna move the brute up to disarm. Disarm prevents an enemy from attacking. They could do other stuff like move, but as long as they can't attack, it's really not a big deal. Then we're going to use Restorative Mist to heal myself. And then we're going to run up with our Scoundrel to attack. Although, it's possible I don't even kill either one of them. So maybe I should hedge my bets a little bit. Maybe what I should actually do, now that I think about it, is use Toxic Bolt on the bottom. And then a heal, like Harmless Contraption, to heal myself. Yes, that seems much, much better. And I can do a little damage and apply a poison. Poison's a debuff that makes it so that any attack does extra damage. Yes, this seems much better. Okay, they're gonna do their usual thing, but not a problem. I'm gonna move, use the bottom part of balance measure to move up, and then just disarm. -1, but not a big deal. He's neutralized for this turn. Toxic Bolt on 0. That works for me. Now, I could just move and get some more loot, but I think I'm going to heal myself instead. Then you can end your turn, Tinker. And then I am going to move up with the Quick Hands. The same attack either way, because I have a Thieves' Knack on the bottom. Let's go for this one with the Quick Hands. Ooh, +1, completely unnecessary. Quite the overkill. Ooh, a null modifier. Ouch, we're gonna take a hit from that. That is okay though. What do I do next turn? I could just heal myself. I don't see the need for a minor stamina potion. That doesn't seem like a good use. Yeah. Of my cards. I might even just do a basic attack. All right. Well, end turn. Take a counter attack here, but it's not really a big deal. Just take the damage. I can take it. All right. Now what? When you have fewer cards, the turns do become a lot easier. You don't want to rest too early. Like generally you want to clear out all the enemies before you rest, although that's just a general rule. That's not always true, but you know, once you're down to 3 cards, like it's pretty easy to pick them, right? So special mixture, we could poison and then sinister opportunity on the top. Pretty self-explanatory. Gonna do another stun. I don't think that one's dead yet, and I could just use enhancement field to get myself a little extra damage, or I might even use it to move. And then for our brute, we're just gonna do some more attacks. Now this is interesting. Oh, the guards. Look at that. They're quick. They're gonna do extra damage. Clever. And they're gonna shield themselves. And you see there's a little circle card on the bottom, meaning this card lets them reshuffle their deck and draw anew. That way the AI never runs out of cards to use. So they're gonna get even more free attacks, pretty damaging free attacks on me. And they poison me. Nothing I can do about it though, because they're so fast. All right. Oh! I have no choice but to burn one available card. It's 6 damage. Otherwise, I don't want to burn 2 discard. That was a very lucky hit. Definitely see if I receive 6 damage, I just die, so I have no choice. That really sucks. And I only have Venom Shiv. Didn't really want to lose that, but don't really have a choice there. Wow, that was unexpected. We could stun this one, so next turn it can't do anything. That seems like a good bet. And enhancement field will buff the brute's attack. Seems good. Good. Although I think I actually have to be standing there to get it. So let's move over here. Actually, so I don't have to push. Like I can just choose not to push. I kind of want to go there. Skip push. Then just try to kill it. -1. That is very unfortunate, but I'm gonna skip that push as well. Do a little gold. I was hoping to be able to heal myself, but doesn't seem like that's gonna happen. So because of that, we're gonna move up and skip movement. I'm gonna poison you just to be sure. Also, why not? And then sinister opportunity. Wow. The poison didn't matter, but drew a -2, which sucks. Okay, this turn I have to long rest, or I could short rest, but long rest lets me heal myself a little bit. And if you get poison like this, heal will cure the poison, but it won't actually do anything else. And then my other characters are just gonna move. I could actually use restorative miss to get up here and do a little healing that way. And just attack on the bottom, maybe with flamethrower or something. That seems smart. Yeah, but he's stunned. He can't actually do anything. So let's heal to get rid of that poison. And then we're just gonna use, I'm not gonna burn my card, just use a basic attack. This is actually perfect because I could use the brute to come here. And then trample. If I kill, I can heal, which will get rid of the poison. And I'm gonna heal myself, but I have to pick another card to burn here. I like all the mobility cards. I like Sinister Opportunity. I don't really want to burn anything, but I guess Swift Bow is probably the worst. Okay, I've cleared out this room, but there are 2 more rooms. So when we bust through the door, there's going to be enemies and they get to do stuff. So bursting through doors is one of the most dangerous turns. I'm going to have to think about this. Alright, turns out this turn wasn't so hard. I forgot I just needed long rests on the other 2 characters, on Chag and Luke. Even though Luke still has some cards in his hand, I'm still gonna long rest. That way we synchronize everybody's turns together. Don't want to have him do something and then like he has the long rest next turn. By long resting, you refresh all of your spent cards like the goggles or the boots, but this card, the Power Potion, that's a consumed card, so you don't get those back. There are very, very few ways to get consumed cards back. But getting the goggles back is a pretty big deal. Plus, you heal 2 hit points. So, and that's perfect, right? We can heal everybody back up. So I'm going to use 2 cards I think I'm just not going to need. I want to do stuff like Quick Hands, Thieves' Knack. You saw how useful that was. Next turn I could do something like Backstab and Sinister Opportunity. I want to go real slow and then like just run forward like crazy. And I am thinking I don't need Smoke Bomb or Special Mixture. So now the question is, do I go here or do I go here? I am very quick though, and there might be an opportunity to use something to grab all the loot down here, but like if I run back, I could potentially get all the loot down here. So I'm gonna do this. Skip movement. And then just heal myself. It's 1 hit points, but I don't think I'm gonna need that card. Alright. Long rest. What don't I need? Spare dagger is arguably, well, I might burst through the room and spare dagger or something. It's actually pretty good. Grab and go. But it's one of my few 4 movement cards. I don't want to just get rid of that. Trample. Top part's pretty good. Bottom part's pretty good. Overwhelming Assault, it's got a bottom push. That could be useful. Leaping Cleave, that's also jumping, can allow you to avoid traps. That could be useful. Warding Strength. I don't want to get rid of my high initiative cards. You see how like all these cards are good. I don't really want to get rid of any of them. Trample, that could be very good damage with the boots. Overwhelming Assault, I mean, it's so useful though. I think I have to get rid of Spare Dagger. The use case is a little limited. Tinker is a little easier. There's a lot of cards I just don't need. Proximity Mine are arguably pretty useless. I have plenty of cards that can let me move quick still. Alright, now comes the tricky turn. Alright, I've decided to use Leaping Cleave on the bottom, so we can use Skewer next turn. And then we might be able to use the boots and balance measure, maybe do a lot of extra damage. We'll see what else is in the room first. Then I want to go very slow with my other 2 characters, because when you burst through a door, the enemies, as long as they might all get to go. Like, imagine there's enemies with 20 initiative, 30, 40. After my brute moves, they will all go. But they're probably going to need a little time to get closer to the door before they attack. So if I go super slow, they might move, do nothing, and then I move up and counterattack them, especially with myself. So I pick backstab and sinister opportunity. Backstab almost certainly to move on the bottom, and then just getting a little attack. And then next turn, I could potentially do a lot of damage. And then same deal, I'm just picking two kind of like meh cards. And then next turn we'll do a much bigger turn, like with stuns and stuff, or potentially ink bomb. So let's do this. All right, what are they gonna do? Got some archers, and there are some traps, which, ooh, he's got that. I'm not gonna sit there and eat an attack from it, that's for sure. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I stand here, this archer actually gets to attack me. All these archers, you can see, very quick. Bandit Guard Elite. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. If I could push some of them, it could do a lot of work. Like, no, don't use it. Unclick it. Okay. Like, if I could push this one 3, I would do 8 damage to it. I don't think I have an ability that can push 3, though. I have at most push 2. Or if I stand here with myself, I could pull and probably just kill one. There's a lot of options. But no matter what, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have to stand here so I don't eat that free attack. That seems smart. And I'm just not going to be able to use balance measure, but that's okay. I got plenty other cards. Skip movement. Skip attack. The brute's turn. They're going to create a bunch of traps, which will actually work out very well for me, because I can push and do all sorts of shenanigans to force them into their own traps. They're going to activate my... Oh, they've actually walled themselves off. That's hilarious. Although they are also archers, so that's not a bad thing for them. Ooh, hook gun. Too bad I can't do that, huh? Not gonna pull. Too bad I can't do hook gun. Probably won't do any damage, but yep. Don't see any reason to pull you, I don't think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, I pulled you here. It would set up for a very nice thing I could do with myself. You know what? Why not? I can get a sinister opportunity attack is what I was thinking. Yes. It's 4 damage, potentially. It's something. Ooh, wow. Crit hits. Very good damage. And I'm going to use my minor stamina potion. This is the turn. I'm gonna get smoke bomb back because it's just so much free damage. Pull. And end my turn. Alright, next turn's gonna be very critical. I know I'm gonna use... I think flanking strike smoke bomb, right? That's gotta be it. Pull 1. Flanking strike this to kill it. That just seems too smart. Alright, let me try to figure out the rest of my turn. Alright, so this is the plan. We're going to use Smoke Bomb to pull this Bandit Archer Elite in through this trap here on the right, and then this trap closer to me, and Flanking Strike the Bandit Guard Elite. Then I'm actually going to try to run up with Shield Bash and then Overwhelming Assault. And I'm going to use my boots to put myself here, forcing this Bandit Archer Elite through that trap, guaranteeing killing it. Now, I won't be able to do anything with the top part of Shield Bash, but that is perfectly fine. If only I had the Leaping Cleave, I could do some other stuff, but that's okay. I don't really need Shield Bash, I don't think. The Shield Bash is just gonna help me go first, and then we can do some more push-pull nonsense next turn. And then Stun Shot, just in case, and Flamethrower on the bottom, because I'm not really sure what else to use on the bottom. Alright. Ooh, they got some immobilization attacks, which is gonna suck, but it is what it is. Oh my god, another crit! I am a god, clearly. Very nice work. I'm gonna use the boots to move here. And then skip. And then target you. Push you back. Guaranteeing the kill. And then it can't attack anything, but that's okay. Oh! Well, that was a flaw. I can't stand here and stun. The range is 3. Whoops! I did not plan that very well. I should have picked a card that lets me move 4 or 3. That was just a bad plan. Should have picked like Potent Potables or something. So they're both going to attack. It's not a lot of damage, but they're going to immobilize me, which is going to be super irritating. So I might as well just move up and get this treasure. I could also move back and get this treasure. The next turn, 1, 2, 3, 4. Use something to move up more. Don't really think that's a good idea. Well, I could... Nah. No, there's nothing. There's nothing. I could move here, and then they would attack and immobilize me instead of the brute. Oh, that seems good, because I can afford to be immobilized. I'm a range character. I can take the puny 1 damage. And then the brute can do some shenanigans next turn. That seems much, much better. I'm not... Oh, and I can get a free basic attacking. Yes. Not going to do the flamethrower. I would only hit 1 target. Not worth it. And I pick up gold. That was a good move like that. Ooh. Of course, they do draw +2, but it's fine. Oh my god! Oh! Multiply by 2 on 2. Everybody's just high rolling their damage, huh? Everybody is high rolling. I actually cannot getting range. I did not consider that. Okay. Hoarding strength. But can't actually push them back in the way I want to. I'm gonna use trample to move, I think. I'm just gonna try to disarm one of them. Reviving shock enhancement field. When my brute moves up and disarm, they should target the brute because he has the lowest initiative. Guess I'm just looting this turn. Yeah, that's not a lot of damage. We can deal with that. So we're gonna move with trample over here, and then just disarm. Pick 1 shot at the brute, which is whatever. Okay, didn't even do any damage. Can't actually do anything, so. And then I'm gonna use enhancement field to buff my attack, and then reviving shock to target 2 enemies. Pretty good. And I'm gonna rest soon, so I might as well use my goggles. Ah, yes. Alright. Only one bandit left. Long rest here. And I think I can figure out what to do here. Warding strength. Skewer. My grab and go, it doesn't matter. And then I'm gonna do a lot of heals on myself, I think. Restorative miss. You know, just in case we need to do another attack. And then heal myself on the bottom. I don't really see that as like a thing. So that's 5 hit points. I give myself completely back. I only really need to heal 3. Even healing 2 is really good. So you know what? Let's do Toxic Bolt, Harmless Contraption. That way I can use grab and go to loot a little bit. Ugh, annoying. Another trap. Heal myself. I could stand here, take 3 damage to get a little more gold, because I'm gonna long rest and heal 2 of those hit points back. Why not? Like, I'll be down 1 hit point for the next fight, but I'm okay with that. Alright, what do I not want? Special mixture? Poison might actually come in handy. Well, we are pretty close to the other room. Maybe I don't need the backstabs? I like Sinister Opportunity. I like that manipulation. Get rid of quick hands. That's probably best. Because if we're gonna loot, I want to get as much money onto the Tinkerer as possible. Yeah. Special mixture to poison could still come in handy. Okay. Problem, of course, is... what do I do? There's some shenanigans where I can move into the doorway this turn and then just go invisible to set up for a crazy next turn. But there could be range enemies in there and they could just shoot me. So it's still not worth it. And if I'm gonna do that, I could use the invisibility cloak. I would... that might be a good move if my character's like back here, safely out of line of sight. I'm gonna disarm a trap for 2 experience, but I don't want experience. Thinking I probably don't need both backstab. I want Thieves' Knack for the damage. Burning that venom should really hurt. Something like this. It's not gonna use these. Like, my turn is all off compared to everyone else's. Balance measure might be useful. I want to keep stuff I can burn. I guess balance measure I can't burn. We got plenty of other high damage cards. Grab and go probably should have been, but I'm burned, but I'm getting greedy. I might use it to loot. Totem potables, I don't think I'm gonna use that. Okay. Gonna lead with the brute, I'm thinking. We could do the old leap. No, I might use the leaping cleave some other way. I don't even know what's in there. Let's do, let me think. All right, I think I know what I want to do. We're gonna moving with provoking roar and grab and go, do a lot of damage, and then use special mixture flanking strike, and then finally, because the enemy might trigger, and then I can poison something, and then flanking strike it, and then I'm gonna go very slow with the Tinker, go for a stun and a heal, because I'm probably gonna take some damage from doing this. Let's see what happens.
Kicking through the door, you find yourself face to face with the reason these bandits chose this particular hole to nest in. Animate bones. Unholy abominations of necromantic power. Nothing more to do but lay them to rest, along with the remainder of this troublesome rabble.
All right, what are they gonna do? Ooh, look at that. That is a lot of damage. And the skeletons can move and do a lot of damage too. That is truly an extraordinary amount of damage. But the skeletons are gonna move. If you ever see a target 2, they're gonna try to attack 2 people if at all possible. So 1, 2, 3, 4, attack 2, and then like archers are gonna move. This is gonna be so much damage. I think my best bet is to try to disarm one of these skeletons and then figure out what to do next turn. Although, you can move slow. You can jump. All right. Well, this may not be the best, but it's what I got. Go for disarm. Hey, 2 damage. That's something. I'll take it. I'm gonna burn every other card we have here. Okay, -1. That works. The archers are gonna hurt though. Tempted to burn a card mostly for my objective, but let's just receive the damage because we might take way more than 4 damage. If I were to burn one available card, what would I burn? Probably overwhelming assault. I don't see the push because I'm gonna leaping cleave and then do something, I think. Yeah, I'll burn overwhelming assault. Mostly to, I would have taken the damage if I didn't have that quest. Fortunately, this won't do. I could have stood in the and using visibility trick. I probably should have done that. Oh well. I can heal, but then I can't stun. Stunning is more important than healing. And let's stun the skeleton. Okay, so I can only do one thing. At Shield Bash and Leaping Cleave, I'm probably going to burn the top part of Shield Bash. That will let me move up. Probably with Thieves' Knack. And then... ooh, I can... Toxic Ball Enhancement Field. So I get maximum damage out of all my attacks. That seems smart. Okay, the skeletons are gonna heal themselves, kinda. Definitely have to do... he immobilizes me, it's not the worst. Because I'm gonna skewering use the skewer attack next turn. So we're gonna shield bash to do a lot of damage and stun. Also burns a card, but that's okay. This is the last battle. Let us enhancement field. Oh, I meant to stand over here. Whoops, that was a mistake. But it's fine. It's all fine. -2. What? Oh, he's gonna move over there. Never mind, it all works out. Gonna heal away his poison, which is very annoying. Because now... you run up and... try to kill the bandit archer elite. But I would rather you shoot my... shoot Crag there, yeah. So I should move 2 and then Sinister Opportunity is just the most damage. Getting a lot of negative rolls, but that's okay. We can take it. Alright. That's okay. We can work with that. I have to short rest. Really don't want to burn that, but that's like my best attack. But if I redraw, I could burn. Really don't want to burn that. I think I am going to redraw. Pretty much any other card being burned is better. Yeah, sure, backstab. That's a... don't need that. Okay, flanking strike. And then Thieves' Knack for maximum damage. I know I'm not pausing to consider my moves, but I also think these turns are a little easier. And Ink Bomb these two. Restorative Mist. That's actually pretty good. Because then I could use Sinister Opportunity and get the Dark Infusion. Skewer. Okay. I think this has to be how it goes. Restorative Mist lets me heal a little. Bandit Archers get to move first. Do pretty good damage. And the Living Bones also potentially could do a lot of damage, but it is what it is, so. Nice work, myself. Killing that skeleton. And then, ooh, excellent damage, too. They're both gonna shoot me. This is actually a pretty good thing. By going invisible, they're gonna shoot Shag there. Then you're gonna move over here to attack. So how much damage is incoming? 7? Or 5? If I have to burn a card or two, that's okay. Or I have to burn 1 card, that's okay. Oh! I did not expect that. Oh, right, they don't want to attack. They always want to try to get away. That's why. Well, I'm gonna stick with my plan to have fewer cards in hand. Okay. Well, I think this changes the equation a little bit. I am going to AoE these two. So I can kill the skeleton. Nice. Using the Eagle Eye Goggles worked out perfectly. Alright, and now there's 1 enemy left. I want to try to loot as much as possible. Because there's only 1 thing left, I'm really not worried. In fact, I am not even going to risk drawing the plus the multiply by 2, I want to loot everything. So not even gonna do anything because of that. Okay, I can put, I have a loot 2 on the bottom, so I want to put myself in a good position for that. Is do something like this, and then just short rest. There's no reason to long rest anymore. Sure, I don't need that. We can do a grab and go. Thinking that's pretty strong. Skewer, grab and go, something there. Leaping cleaves, grab and go, something like that. Doesn't really matter. I want to make sure I don't actually kill him. So move you over here, buddy. I'll just do a basic attack that I know can't kill you. Well, that definitely didn't do it. Really a pretty annoying spot. I was planning to go there for grab and go, but okay. Sure. Do a little, ooh, multiply by 2. Okay, almost dead. So we have to go here, get ready for hook gun. If you use some loot ability, it will get the treasure chest as well. You don't have to stand on it. Let's loot all this. Jump over here and loot that. This is almost over. Should be able to end this. Now, it doesn't matter what it is. I'm going to burn it. I'm going to use the bottom part of hook gun, and I'm going to use the stun ability on the top. Why not? Okay, I have to have 3 or fewer cards in hand. It's pretty easy. We just use skewer, the bottom part, burn it for an experience point. And then I can short rest. Sure, don't need that. Could theoretically try to run all the way back out there and get that gold, but not worth it. Not worth it. Oh, I mean, I have to do the kill by using sinister opportunity to move the bandit onto its own trap, right? Like, I have no choice. From target. That was too satisfying. Burn this. Get an experience. Get the gold. Then gonna use hook gun, treasure chest. Loots wins. I think that's like a bonus mission. But yeah, there it is. Victory.
With the last bandit dead, you take a moment to catch your breath and steel yourself against the visions of living remains ripping at your flesh. Your target is not among the dead, and you shudder to think what horrors still await you in the catacombs below.
Got most of the loot, all the bonus objectives. Very, very nice. And then when a quest is completed, you gain a little more experience for everyone. Oh, Windswept Highlands. This is a bonus quest. And then this is the next story quest. So after a mission, sometimes you can go back to town, or you can just go straight to the next mission. It's pretty much always better to go back to town, because when you go back to town, you can buy new items, you can re-equip, you can get more encounters, which are generally a good thing. So I am going to return to Gloomhaven. And I think that will be where this episode ends, this very first episode. I know it's got an insane running time, but in the future, I might try to make every mission several episodes, so things are a little shorter. There's just so many mechanics, so many things going on in this game that the single episode format may not work very well for future recordings. But I hope you found this a good example of what Gloomhaven is. And thank you for watching. Until next time.